Hello everybody and welcome to this week's coding class. Today we're going to do something super exciting. We're going to learn astronomy and do a coding challenge around it, okay? So who out there wants to be an astronaut? My son certainly does, and that's probably why we got inspired by this one. And this is actually a project done by Reading Daddy, so you're going to see his Instagram handle pop up there. So thank you so much, because when I saw it, I thought it was amazing. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn around the moon. So if you kind of look at night towards the stars and see the moon, there's actually a couple of phases of the moon. So you have the new moon, the full moon, and then the quarters. So what we're actually going to do is do that in our coding. And we're going to see a little bit how it works with the Earth actually causing the shadow across the moon. Does that sound exciting? I hope so. So let me start by showcasing what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to press the green flag on the iPad. And as you can see, our Earth is going to move, and it's actually in between the sun rays and the moon. So as it moves, that shadow is going to pass in front of the moon as well. And you can see that it blocks the moon. Okay? Does that sound like a really cool class to do? I think so. So, with that, let's start coding. Okay? What do you guys think? So, what we're going to start by doing is grab our iPad as always. If this is your first class, don't worry. You can perfectly well follow it. I explain kind of all the steps as we go along. And most of the blocks that we're going to be using, either we've used before, or it's something really easy to get on the first time around, okay? So, with that, the iPad should be popping up there. And with that, we're going to start ScratchJr. When you start up ScratchJr, you're going to get this house or question mark. So we're going to do the house. And we're going to start a new project. So on the top left, you have this plus sign here. So we're going to press on that one for a new project. Okay? As always, with ScratchJr, that little cat appears. So we're not going to use him here. So what we're going to do is press on the cat. So long press on the cat. Put your finger on him and just keep pressing until he wiggles. And you see this red cross. And then press the red cross so the cat goes out. Okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to start with the background. So we don't really have a background that's space or dark blue, so we're actually going to make one, okay? We're going to go up here to the background. So next to the ABC, you have this one here with the green and the blue, so press on that. And we're going to press on the white one in the top left corner, okay? So that's this one here. Press on that one. And press on the paintbrush. So don't press on the tick side, press on the paintbrush because we're actually going to be changing its color. Press on the paintbrush and we're going to make it dark blue. Okay, so let's go down here. So you see the colors on the bottom? We're going to go to this dark blue here. It's under the orange. So it's not the darkest, it's the one just before it. Okay, so this one here. So press on that dark blue. And now press on the bucket on the right hand side. So here you have arrows, you have the stamp, the scissors, the camera, and the bucket. So let's press on the bucket. And let's press anywhere here in the middle of the white screen. So just press with your finger. So grab your finger and press there. And you'll see the whole screen goes dark blue. Cool? So now press on the tick box. And you should have a dark blue screen. Okay? Here in the middle. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding our objects. Okay, so we're going to start adding the sun, the earth, the moon, and a shadow. So we're actually going to make that shadow a little bit interesting because we're going to make it ourselves. Okay, and I'll show you guys in a little minute. Let's start with adding the sun, the earth, and the moon. So here on the left, under ScratchJr and under the house, press that plus sign. And what we're going to do is with our finger, we're going to scroll down. So just keep scrolling down until you see stars and planets. Okay? So they should be under the fruits. So you see an apple, an orange, a mushroom, and then you have like houses, barn, a castle. In between those, you have this chunk here. And what we want first is the sun. So you should have stars and this sun. Press on the sun and press on this tick box up here. Okay, so we have a sun. However, this sun is kind of small, so we're going to make it much, much bigger. And the way we do that is that we're going to go to the purple blocks over here. And we're going to get the block that says grow. So this one here. So you see it has like 3 people and one of them is big in white. So we're going to bring that down. So with your finger, just press on it and drag it down. And I'll tap on it once, tap on it twice, tap on it. So tap the actual purple block. Another time, another time, another time, another time, and another time. And I think that's big enough. Let's see. I'm going to put my finger on it and I'm going to drag it here to the corner. Probably not big enough. So I'm going to tap it yet another time, another time, another time, and another time. I think I tapped it like 10 times maybe. So, and we're going to put it right here in the corner, okay? So you should have a pretty big sun in the corner, right in the corner, okay? Cool? Awesome. So now that we have the sun the size that we want, we don't need this block anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag that block up and it will disappear. Okay, so you should have nothing here on the bottom. Okay? The next thing we're going to get is the Earth. So we're going to go up here to the left under the sun, press the button. We're going to drag down. We're going to scroll down, sorry, until we reach the planets again. And you're going to see the Earth here. So you see the Earth, it's next to what looks like Saturn and above the clouds. So we're going to press on that Earth and we're going to press on the tick box. Okay? And what we're going to do with the Earth is we're going to put him more or less to the top of the sun. Okay? So just with your finger, press on the Earth and drag him up there. More or less there. Okay? So he's going to go diagonally down. So he needs space here. So not totally on top of the sun, but more or less there. Okay? And now let's get our moon. So we're going to go to the left. We're going to press on this plus sign. We're going to scroll down again. And we are going to get the moon, which is right next to the sun. So it's the full moon, not this moon that is already in a quarter kind of position. So the one that's a full round moon. So press on that moon and press on the tick box. And now this moon we're going to put here on the top left. Okay? So just put your finger on the moon and drag him up there. Okay? Does that sound cool? Okay, so you have sun, earth, and a moon. Thumbs up? Yes? Awesome. We're just missing one thing, which is the shadow. So we're actually going to make the shadow out of another object which we're going to draw. So here on the left you have the sun, the earth, and the moon, and the plus sign. Press on that plus sign there. And what we're going to do is make a shadow. So we're going to press here on the white one. So you see this white one here. We're going to press on the paintbrush on the top right here. And we're going to draw a circle. So the way we do that is here on the left you have the squiggly one that looks like a snake. Under it you have the round one, then a square one, then a triangle. So we're going to press on that round one. You see the one that goes around here? Make sure you have the same blue as what you did for space. So that's not the darkest blue, the one under this orange here. So this one here, selected. So make sure you press on that one. And now to make a perfect circle, or as perfect as you can, you see the squares that you have? Try and get in between these two dark lines here of the squares and drag it diagonally down. So you put your finger on it and you drag it down more or less until there. Okay? It doesn't really matter kind of the size. It could be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, kind of in between here and here. Just don't make it oval. So don't make it like there or there. So you see if you put your finger there, it goes that way. What you need is to make sure that you're doing it diagonally down until you get a circle, or as close to a circle that you can. When you have a circle, let your finger off and it's going to be drawn. Okay? Is that cool? Now we're going to color the inside of it. So just press the bucket here on the right. So you see you have arrows, the stamp, the scissors, the camera, and the bucket again, the same one that we used before. And we're going to press anywhere in the middle of the circle. Not outside of the circle, right in the middle. Okay? And you should have a blue circle. Cool? So now go to the top right and press your tick box, okay? And what we're going to do is put our finger in the middle of that circle that just appeared and drag it next to the moon, okay? So more or less in the middle, in between the moon and the earth, okay? More or less there, okay? Now what we're going to do is start coding. So we have all the objects that we need. We have the sun, we have the earth, we have the moon, and we have our shadow. Let's start with the sun. So on the left, go to the top and press on the sun, okay? So you should have the sun with a yellow box around it. What we're going to want the sun to do is kind of animate. So it's going to flash bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. Just that way we kind of showcase that the sun is emitting light. So we're going to do a start block, and those are these yellow blocks here. So press on the yellow, and when we start running the program, we're going to drag down that, what am I saying? When we start the program, what it does is it starts with the green flag. So we're actually going to use that because the sun will start with the start of the program and then keep like pulsing all throughout. So drag down the yellow block with the green flag, okay? Now what we're going to do is go to the purple blocks, and we're going to use the ones to make it bigger and smaller. So we're going to start with smaller. So that's the one that has the 3 people with the small white person. So we're going to drag that down and put it next to the green block. So this is shrink, and then we're going to make it grow. So that's the one here with the big person. Okay, so 3 people and the larger white person. Okay, so what this does is if the sun is stopped there, when we start the program, it's going to shrink a little bit, then it's going to grow a little bit, then it's going to shrink a little bit, then it's going to grow a little bit. And we want it to repeat. So the way we do that is with the red finish blocks, but instead of the one that just finishes, we're going to do the repeat one, the one with the arrows, okay? So the way this works is when we start the program, the sun is going to go smaller, then it's going to go bigger, and then it tells it to repeat. So smaller, bigger, repeat. Smaller, bigger, repeat, okay? Everybody has their sun coded? Awesome. So now we're going to go to the earth. And what the earth needs to do, actually, is move diagonally in front of the sun. So it's going to go down and to the left. However, if we would tell it to go down and then to the left, and down and then to the left, you would have like it looks like a staircase almost. So it would go like this and like that, and like this and like that. So the way we make it do diagonal is actually 2 lines of code at the same time. One line of code is going to tell it to go down, and the other line of code is going to tell it to go left. Okay? So, let's start with so make sure you have your earth selected. So there should be a yellow box around the earth. If not, press here. Go to the yellow blocks, and go to start on green. Okay, so drag down that yellow block with the green flag. And now what we're going to do is tell it to move to down first. So we're going to go to the blue blocks, and we're going to drag down the arrow that goes down, okay? Cool? Cool. What we want is for the earth to move slowly, so not be moving all the time. So actually we're going to introduce something which is a pause, okay? And that is with the orange blocks. So we go to the orange blocks, and there's one with a clock. So drag down that one with the clock. And what this does is, when we start the program, it moves down, then it waits. Okay? And we're going to want it to do it all the time. So we're going to go to the red blocks, and we're going to drag down the one with the arrows. Okay? So, start the program, move down, wait, and repeat. Okay? So this is only down. Now we need another line for left. And it's going to be very similar to this one. So we go to the yellow blocks, we go to the start on green, drag it down. You can drag it anywhere you want. So you could put it there, you could put it there. I kind of like to keep it tidy, so I'm going to keep it right under the other one. We're going to go to the blue blocks, and since we already did down, we're going to do the right. Okay? So when we start on green, at the same time, it's going to go down and right, which is diagonal. So down and right means that it's going to go here. We're going to go to the orange blocks and drag down that stopwatch. Okay, so the watch right next to the other one. and we're going to go to the red blocks and tell it to repeat it forever. Okay? Cool? So you should have 2 lines of code on your Earth. Awesome. Okay. Now, the moon, if we're going to the moon, does the moon have to do anything? So the moon will just stay there. It doesn't need to move. So in this case, we're not going to put any lines of code whatsoever on the moon. Okay? So we can now press on our shadow. So that's this blue one here. So go to the left and make sure that you have a yellow box, I don't know what's happening with me today, around that blue circle. Okay? And we're going to start coding him. So what he has to do is, while the Earth is going down, he's going to move at the same time across the moon. The shadow is going to move across over the moon. So we're going to go to the yellow blocks. We're going to drag down start on green. Okay? So that's the yellow block with the green flag. We're going to go to our movement blocks and tell it to move in that direction. Okay? So we're going to tell it to move to the left. So that's the blue blocks and the arrow to the left. Okay? I'll probably give you a couple of things that you can change by yourself if you want afterwards. One of them will be, you can also make this move diagonally if you want. Okay? So then we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the Earth, which is have a pause of the stopwatches. So let's go to the orange blocks and drag down the one with the watch. Orange block and watch. And we're going to want it to do it forever. So let's go to the red blocks and drag down the one with the arrows. Okay? And that's all the coding that we have to do. So what do you guys think of giving it a little trial run to see if everything is working? Okay? So up here, we're going to go full screen. So next to the house, you have this rectangle with the lines. So press on that one so it goes into full screen. And you'll see that you can see the sun, you can see the Earth, and you can see the moon. But you can't see the other circle because it's the same color as space. So it kind of disappears, which is the secret behind this coding class. So let's do the green arrow, and you'll see that the Earth is moving. And look, the shadow moves at exactly the same time. Isn't that awesome? And look, the shadow then disappears on the other side. So it's kind of like the real astronomy. So now what you'll see, and these are things that if you guys want to try at home you can, is that the Earth keeps moving, okay? And it doesn't really reset back to where it should be, and it kind of moves all over the screen. So actually one thing I'd like to hear from you guys is, how could you fix this? So how could you either do a reset button or make the Earth only move from one part of the screen to the other, but then kind of loop back? So I'll give you a couple of hints. There's a blue block, which is return to home, which could help you. And also in the orange blocks, there's one that has like a jigsaw puzzle in the middle, so one that you can put things in the middle, that could limit how many times the Earth can actually move. So instead of moving forever and ever and ever, you could tell it, for example, to move 8 times, and then don't move anymore and reset back home. Okay? So I'll leave that as homework, just to see what you guys can do. As always, I'd love to hear from you on what you were able to do with this, or if you have any ideas. So since you can't leave comments on the YouTube channel, I'm actually creating, well, I have created a long time ago, an Instagram channel called The Coding Dad. So please, tell me about ideas that you want me to do, and I'll be more than happy to try and code them for you. Tell me how you solved the challenge of not making the Earth go all over the screen, okay? And just one more shout out to the Reading Dad. Thank you so much for this amazing astronomy coding class. I really, really appreciate it, and I think everybody had a lot of fun with it, okay? Till next week, bye everybody!